Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the last season version of the Texas Sports Unfiltered post-game show. Unfortunately, last hoorah. Texas loses to the Ohio State Buckeyes 28-14. I am Zay Collier, joined by the great Double R Rodney Rodriguez. And man, that's such a brutal way to go out. Such a brutal way to go out. I can't even explain how disappointing that loss is. Like Longhorn fans, we will be thinking about this loss for a long time because this 2024 Texas team, which I absolutely love, like that's one of the worst parts to a season coming to an end, especially when you have just a very high quality team like this year's Texas Longhorn team. It hurts, man. It hurts. This team did not play bad at all. At the end of the day, coaching is a big fucking deal. And two huge coaching mistakes happened tonight. We're definitely going to break it down, Double R and I, but you have a chance to tie the game, Rodney. You have a chance to tie the game. You know, the ball on the 1 yard line, you get 4 chances, 2 back-to-back pass interference calls, and you can't put it in the end zone at all. Like, you actually go backwards on a horrible call on second down on that toss to Contravion Wisner. First of all, you give it to Jared Gibson. He hasn't seen the field all game long, and I get it. Jared Gibson, he's a bigger back than Contravion Wisner and Jaden Blue, but, you know, Ohio State, you got to give them love. Like, the reason why they're the best defense in the nation, because of moments like that. They made big plays when they needed to at the end, and, yeah, Steve Sarkisian, he's going to be thinking about those calls for the rest of his life because, again, you're at the 1 yard line. You have 4 chances to put it in. My biggest question, Double R, is why don't you put Arch Manning in the game?
Yeah.
That's the time. That's the time. He already got you a big 4th down conversion earlier on. Like Quinn Ewers, clearly he's not available when it comes to a quarterback sneak or, hey, Steve Sarkisian, you talk about borrowing plays from all of these greats around, you know, the NFL, Sean McVay and, you know, what's my man from? Kyle Shanahan and Andy Reid. Shit. What about Nick Sirianni and the tush push? Why don't we go there? Again, you got Arch Manning. Arch Manning's a big guy. He at least 6'5", 230. Get him in the fucking game. I don't get it. That makes no goddamn sense at all. Excuse my French, mama, but look, I just don't get it. I don't get it. That's one of the worst moves or lack thereof, moves that Steve Sarkisian could have pulled. Those were horrible calls at the end of the game. And look, even though it didn't affect the game as much as it could have, Pete Kwiatkowski, you're letting Henderson take you to the crib right when you get the momentum back with Jaden Blue tying the game 7-7. You should have won in the halftime 7-7. Why the hell are you blitzing, bro? Why are you blitzing? What in the right mind? You play back. You let them run that weak-ass screen, and you be ready for it. To blitz Jalen Gilbo from that star position, that's a horrible call. A horrible call. And this team, they fought hard. They come back. David Benda gets a big-time interception. Colin Simmons is making plays. Your team fought hard, man, and it sucks. Back-to-back weeks, you get out-coached. Back-to-back weeks. You got out-coached in the Arizona State game. We talked about it last week. Like Kenny Dillingham, hey, you just got lucky that you had the better players and they made the plays at the right time. Against Ohio State, you can't play with fire like that at all. You can't. You can't. They're too good. You got to capitalize on every opportunity. Every play has to count. And for this team, like Quinn Ewers, hell of a game, man. It ain't on Quinn. It's not. It's completely on the play calling, completely on the decision-making, and instead of having a grand opportunity to play a way lesser Notre Dame team, coaching cost this squad. And it's sad, Double R. It's really sad to go out like this because this coaching staff, which they've done well for the most part, like they got this Texas team here. They did the recruiting. They rebuilt the culture for Steve Sarkisian here in year 4. Like everything seemed to be trending the right way. And for the coaching just to have 2 big lapses like that when you needed them the most, it's very disappointing. Then this loss is going to sting for a while.
And I think the really frustrating part about this, Zay, is that, I mean, when I looked up at the half, to me, just the way the game felt, I know what the score was, but to me, that felt like 24-7. I mean, that could have easily been a 24-7 ball game because Ohio State had all the momentum. Ohio State was controlling everything in that game, and yet Texas still found a way to get themselves in a spot and claw their way back. I mean, this defense, and I mean, a lot of that was, the Ohio State penalties. I mean, all of that factored in there as well. But the fact that UT was in a position to win this game at the end and you lose it that way. And I know there's going to be, I'm already seeing it, whether it be on X, whether it's on the Clean Cause chat line or on the Coda text line. A lot of this is already falling on Quinn Ewers, but you hit the nail on the head. Look, Quinn Ewers is great tonight, I thought. I mean, Quinn Ewers is one of the reasons that you were still in this game at the end of it, because he made, I mean, it's just like we've gotten used to with him. It wasn't all flash and all these different things and fancy and all that, but he made the plays when you needed him. But the fact is that when you get down to the end of this contest like this, and you get flat ass out coached. There is no other way to put it. I mean, this totally falls on the coaching staff. You got beat. You get down there in the red zone, and when you start bringing in all the different guys, you're bringing in the big guys and all this shit, man, forget that. Get Arch Manning in the game. That's when you needed that dude in there. If anything, it's going to rattle the defense, and maybe you don't give it to him. Maybe you do something else. Maybe you give it to Jaden Blue or somebody else. But I mean, look at when he went in the game the first time. Look what happened there. And that's why you had to utilize that right there. And for all the creativity and the savvy and everything that we talk about with Steve Sarkisian, this offense has looked like shit. Has totally looked like shit. And that play calling cost you a trip to the national championship. And that's all on them. Get off of QE, because people are going to be on QE about this. Yeah, I know Jack Sawyer had the scoop and score, but come on.
He shouldn't have been in that situation to begin with.
Exactly.
Like that's the thing. Like Jack Sawyer made a hell of a play, but hey, you're at 4th and 8 on the goal line. Like it's 4th and goal. You're on the 8-yard line. What is Quinn supposed to do? Like I was just like, he's trying to hold the ball long enough to make a play happen. Like maybe he could have utilized his legs. I got to go back and watch it. But at the end of the day, they should have been put in that situation to begin with. And you hold Jeremiah Smith to 1 catch at 3 yards and you still end up losing by 14. It's just that's just very frustrating, man. It really is. Like, again, you're on the 1-yard line, back-to-back pass interference calls. You put Arch Manning in the game. You got to push it, quarterback sneak or whatever. Give him an opportunity to run the ball. He's going to have so many eyes on him. Hell, you might even be able to do a jump pass Tim Tebow type of play. Like, I just don't – it's tough. It's really tough because this defense, man, they fought hard. And, yeah, that was a big-time drive at the end of the game for Ohio State. 13 plays, 88 yards. 7 minutes, 45 seconds, Quinshon Judkins end up punching it in. You got to get off the field on the 4th and 2. Like, you just have to. A hell of a play called by Chip Kelly to go with the run by Will Howard. Texas actually got lucky that Will Howard pulled the Daniel Jones and tripped over himself and ended up going for a touchdown. But, man, they struck back. Gunnar Helm, he gets that big-time catch, which, come on, Gunnar. I mean, even though it didn't necessarily cost them, you got to be smarter about the whole point, pointing at the player after you completely shove Caleb Downs. And the refs were suspect tonight. They were. ACC refs, they missed a lot of holding calls, especially on that 4th drive for Ohio State where they punched it in to take the lead 21-7. Like Colin Simmons, that's a huge holding call on the third down. It's freaking, what was it? It was 3rd and 8. It was obvious. It was obvious. It's 3rd and 8. Colin Simmons beats his man, but there should have been a holding call there. There wasn't. And Will Howard's able to make a play to Carnell Tate, which Carnell Tate, hell of a game, but you have to have some type of backbone. Like, I get it. You want to let them play. And, it's hard to argue that, but also if it's going to cost sacks and they're getting first downs because of it, ref, you got to throw the fucking flag.
Yeah.
You got to throw the flag. It's just, it's right there. You got to throw the flag. And it's unfortunate. It really is, because the coaching shouldn't have been a problem, like, at all. Like, the coaching, you had plays there. You had plays to not bring a blitz and stand everybody back and just play guys in front of you on that play right before halftime where you get beat on the 75-yard screen pass to Henderson to give them a little momentum. You got to have plays for the 1-yard line. Like the toss, what are we running the toss for?
Yeah.
Like they're just, Ohio State's too good. And Caleb Downs, hey, this guy, he probably feels like he should have been a Thorpe Award winner. He sniffed that out so easily, and just, that's a hell of a play by him. Then the next play, throw it out of bounds. Like, there's nothing there. The ball gets deflected. Quinn Ewers can't make a play there, and then we know what happens next. Jack Sawyer, hell of a play to ice the game on the strip sack fumble touchdown. So I appreciate everybody rocking with us tonight here on TSU. Longhorns lose 28-14, and the game was closer than that to me, Rodney. It really was. It seemed like the Longhorns, they could move the ball. They're getting some traction on the run game. A couple of missed passes by Quinn Ewers, but Ohio State's good. They're freaking good. They're going to make plays. It's just, you got to capitalize on them when they give it to you. Like Quinn Ewers, him improvising to tie the game at 14-14 on the 3rd and 10. His knee almost hits the ground, and he gets the little pitch to Travion Wisner. Like, how can you blame Quinn for the performance tonight?
Yeah.
Like, I just, some of y'all just want to hate if that's the case. 3 played his heart out, and his last game ever in the Texas uniform, he played his absolute heart out. And maybe that was the downfall because Steve Sarkisian trusted them too much. Like, we've talked about it a lot here on TSU. Sark being overly loyal. What are we doing? Like, take Quinn out on the last drive, 1-yard line, put Arch Manning in the game. Like, put him in the game. Let him get that 1 yard for you. Like, this ain't time to be loyal to number 3. And yes, Steven, I am fucking serious. Like, I'm not putting this on Quinn Ewers. There were times that he should have put Arch Manning in the game, like the last drive on the goal line. But overall, Quinn Ewers didn't lose them that game.
No.
Steve Sarkisian and the coaching staff did.
Yeah.
They did. I'm not trying to hear QE3. Like, not tonight. Not tonight, y'all. If y'all are talking that shit, I ain't trying to hear it. I'm really not. This is on the coaching staff. Hold them accountable. Sark's getting paid $10 million in this bitch. Like, hold them accountable. I need Steve Sarkisian to go and say, this game is on me. Wherever he does his presser, this game's 100% on me. You ain't sleeping for months. All that obsession stuff, you ain't sleeping for months for some of the calls or lack thereof that you made. You got to put it in the end zone on the 1 yard line. That's a must. Like, I can't preach it any better. Like, going back to Oklahoma last year, 2013 or 2023, Oklahoma, you got to put it in the end zone there. You're bringing in Trevondre Sweat and Byron Murphy and stuff. How are you not getting in the end zone on the 1 yard line? It just doesn't make any sense, Double R. It really doesn't. No. Like, I don't understand it. And then you call the toss play like that's the second down play. It's absolutely atrocious, man. Yeah. Absolutely atrocious. And it's sad that the coaches blew the game. It's sad because this team was special. This team was special, man. They really were. They had it right in front of them. It was right there. Like, you tied the game. And again, Sark, beautiful wheel route throws to Jaden Blue. Both of those touchdowns early, but to be right there for a chance to tie the game and you can't put it in the paint, it hurts, man. I gotta laugh from controlling myself from freaking crying in this thing. Like, it's just,
yeah.
I hate it. I hate it for these guys. I really hate it for this team.
That's the frustrating part, Zay, is that you did find a way to get yourself back in this, because back to the Quinn Ewers thing at the beginning of the ball game, the offensive line, I've been talking for a week and a half how important it was going to be to control the line of scrimmage and win in the trenches. And when this game started, this offensive line was getting handled pretty damn well. And that's a lot of why you saw what was happening to Quinn Ewers on the overthrows and all that when the heat's on him. And so, I mean that's what happens. That's what happens, because he's not going to sit there and take off and run. And you don't expect him to do that. You expect your offensive line to protect him. But I mean, they'd been mentioned as Joe Moore Award winners at one point, but obviously Georgia was the Achilles heel right there. And but here was the cool thing tonight is that, man, they answered the bell. I mean, in those Georgia games, it was like, okay, they were getting dominated, and they pretty much assured themselves that they were going to get dominated all night long. They can't, man, they pull their asses up off the carpet tonight and put this offense in a position to win. And it's extremely frustrating frustrating that you're on the 1 yard line and then you're all the way back on the 8 yard that you cannot punch. You can't punch it in with this team. With that offensive line, with these running backs, with that guy sitting on the sidelines, how in the hell can you not get in from the 1 yard line?
You have all these future Sunday players on the offensive line. They underachieved this year. I'm sorry. Like, this offensive line, I got to call out Kelvin Banks, Cam Williams, Hayden Conner, Jake Majors, DJ Campbell. Like, every time they faced a very good defense, they couldn't move the ball. And again, you got to put that on the coaching staff. Like Kyle Flood, you've had some good moments this year, and this offensive line's had good moments this year also. You know, going back to Kentucky, obviously A&M. But, man, look at the yards on the ground again. That's why I'm saying, like, y'all putting this on 3 is just flat out ignorant. 58 yards on the ground tonight.
Yep.
58 yards. 17 carries for Catrivio Wisner, 46 yards, longest gain 13. Jaden Blue only had 16 yards. Quinn Ewers, because he was getting sacked, minus 18 yards. You can't win that way.
No.
You can't win being that one-dimensional. It was all on Quinn. We talked all freaking week till preparation for this game. You got to have some balance. You have to. It's a must. And there were times where they were moving the ball a little bit, you know, and Ohio State, they did you a lot of favors tonight. They had 9 penalties. Very uncharacteristic for them. You only had 5, Texas. Like, that's pretty decent. Don't like it. They were still pretty timely, some of these turnovers, but you won the penalties, but you won the penalty battle. You won that tonight. Ohio State made a lot of mistakes. They gave you chances. They gave you opportunities. Gunnar Helm, big-time drop in the first half. Isaiah Bond, you got to come back, brother. Like, I get it. You projected first-round pick. I don't know no more. You dropping passes. Now you injury-prone. Like, that speed is there. But if I'm Isaiah Bond, I mean, when you have the end-of-the-season meetings, I legitimately tell that dude, yo, you might want to consider coming back because this was a very underachieving season for you here at Texas. He was supposed to be the next Xavier Worthy. We ain't seen none of that. And again, it's not all his fault. He got hurt in the Oklahoma game. He was not able to bounce back, Rodney, and that's very disappointing. Very disappointing. I don't think they used Silas Bolden enough in this game and in this season. That dude's a weapon. Did you see the only catch that he had tonight? It was for 24 yards.
Yeah. He
basically got tackled and spun out of it and got you like 15 extra yards. Why the hell is he not getting used?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What? There's just things like that, man. It's just like Steve Sarkisian. What are we seeing here? And it goes back to Double R. Ryan Day, he looked in the mirror and had enough pride to say, you know what? As much as I love play calling, maybe being the CEO of this team is what's best for me. If I'm Steve Sarkisian in the offseason, I'm taking a hard look at that. I don't know who's coming in to make those decisions now, to call the plays, but it's okay. It doesn't make you less of a man to not call the plays. I get it. That's your forte. I get it. You're the mastermind, and you have just, all this high football IQ when it comes to developing the plays and stuff. I understand that. Well respected. You called plays in that 2020 season where Alabama was out here shattering records. Mac Jones, Najee Harris. You had Devontae Smith win a freaking Heisman in this thing. A wide receiver win a Heisman. So there's a certain pride that Steve Sarkisian has when the calling plays. He thinks his shit don't stink. As we saw on that last drive, you're on the 1 yard line. You can't come up with nothing, Mr. Genius, Mr. Guru. And I hate going at him like this, but we got to call him out, spade to spade. You might have to look in the mirror and say, yo, man, I'm the head coach. I just got too many things to worry about. You could go in and give your influence to whoever the play caller could be. But again, Ryan Day did that. He brought Chip Kelly in, and look at them. They're going to the national championship, and they're going to beat the brakes off of Notre Dame. Oh, that shit going to be ugly, bro. Yeah. They are going to beat the brakes off of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
You had them on the ropes tonight. Had them on the ropes. And just a few plays of getting out coach, not making the right call, not putting in the right personnel. With this team, Double R, this team was so special. I can't preach that enough. The 3 ATX guys and Mookie Taft and Andrew Makuba and Jade Barron, that's the last game they ever going to play, man. As an Austin Knight, that hurts me. I love those guys. The pride that they had, even go Quinn Ewers, Gunnar Helm, Jake Majors, Kelvin Banks, gone. Cam Williams, gone. This schedule was favorable. And to lose it like this, bro, it's just
that's I would have rather if you're gonna lose a game, if you're gonna go out, I would have rather gotten beat 24-7 than what we just saw. Because that it makes it even worse the way that it happened. And to your point about play calling and all that, who's your leading receivers? The fucking guys out of the backfield.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, man. I highly believed that the screen game, kind of getting running backs to the outside and all that was going to be extremely important. I didn't mean for that to be your leading receivers. Yeah. And I mean, DeAndre Moore. Look good, but I just don't understand. And I think it really is to what you're talking about right there, to where there is too much on the plate. Absolutely too much on the plate. When you're the CEO of this organization, you can't be sitting there trying to play calls or trying to make play calls, because this offense got steadily more boring. I can't even figure out all the different adjectives to use as what we saw with this offense. It's nothing. It had no pizzazz, nothing at all. And all the while, I mean, look at the regression of the offensive line. They got steadily worse. You lost your running attack, and finally you got that back. The constant was Quinn Ewers, and he's the one that's going to take all the shit. But I just can't understand with the brilliance and the geniusness that is Steve Sarkisian, how you can be running that kind of offense out when you're a loaded team. Zay, you're a loaded team.
Because maybe if you're being a CEO instead of calling plays and stuff, you could tell Pete Kwiatkowski, hey, I don't think we should fucking blitz here with 17 seconds left. And they got a chance to go 75 yards up the field. We got the momentum. Let's go into halftime 7-7. They get ball at half. We're good. And this defense was still making plays in the second half. They came in. David Bendham made some huge plays, made a huge stop on the third down, got that interception. Like, you had so many opportunities, even after the coaches made some crucial mistakes with their play calling. Like, Jeremiah Smith had one freaking catch for 3 yards.
Yep. One
catch for 3 yards, and you still get beat by double digits. Yep. I mean, and you dealt with a lot of adversity this year. You did. CJ Baxter going out before even the first kickoff of the season hurts. Definitely hurts. Like, Kelvin Banks probably wasn't 100% going back to that ankle injury that he had in the A&M game. Cam Williams, him getting hurt. Jake Majors also in the Clemson game. Yeah, that killed you, but still, man, like not being able to move the ball on the ground, like that's a killer.
Pisses me off. That's what pisses me off the most. I mean, you couldn't, and you couldn't hit a deep ball. The Gunnar Helm thing was working, but then that fucking disappeared. I mean, you saw a little bit of it tonight, once or twice.
But why does he only get utilized in the fourth quarter?
That's my
why isn't it happening all game? Like I'm looking at Penn State and they're the same as Texas, watching game on TV, or just watching the national championship at home. But they utilize their all-world tight end. He does everything. He's taking snaps. He's throwing passes. They be giving them end rounds. They be looking for him every other play, it seems like Gunnar Helm, especially when Matthew Golden goes out. And yes, that's another hit of adversity that you get there. Like Matthew Golden, he's been amazing all year. You ain't going to have him no more because he's going to get drafted. That dude was absolutely terrific. Like that one-hand catch on the first drive, sheesh, not too many guys are making plays like that. But even with him getting hurt, that means, okay, let's get 85 involved more. Like Silas Bolden, that's going to be one of the biggest what-if stories all offseason. Why the hell did you bring him here if you're not going to use him? Like, I get Ryan Wingo, who was pretty good tonight. Like, he was solid, but it's just, you got to throw the kitchen sink at a team like Ohio State.
Yeah.
Like, if you're doing the same old run scheme, which is that outside zone shit, like Chip Kelly, after the Michigan game, he completely said, you know what? I've been an inside zone guy my whole freaking life. During his time at Oregon with Marcus Mariota and stuff like that, where he had a lot of success, to his time with the Eagles until they ran him out of there because he was treating LaShawn McCoy and Deshaun Jackson like shit. And, those guys, they still hate him to this day. And obviously at UCLA, it didn't work out. But Chip Kelly, after the Michigan game, where they got absolutely stuffed by the Wolverines, a team that you blew out earlier in the season, by the way, he said, you know what? We may have to do something a little bit different. This inside zone run stuff, clearly it's not working. If we try to do the same old, we're going to get bounced out the college football playoff. So what did he do? He went to a counter game attack where he had his inside blockers pulling and different things like that. And they had a lot of success from it the first 2 weeks against Tennessee and Oregon. Mm-hmm. You could do that if you're Steve Sarkisian.
Yeah.
Why are you so prideful? Why do you think that the same old is going to get the job done? You squeaked by way too many teams this year. Again, the schedule was favorable. You should be blowing out Vanderbilt. I don't give a damn if Vanderbilt had their best season in years. You should be blowing them out. Yeah. Like, you should be beating Arkansas by more points. And again, the win's a win in the SEC, but again, you got a lot of shit going your way where, yeah, those wins were solid and all, but they're just no Georgia. They didn't fear you. Arizona State didn't fear you. And here comes Ohio State. They damn sure didn't fear what you did. So to go out like this, I can't stop repeating myself. Like, it is painful, man. The defense played their ass off tonight. Colin Simmons, all those guys, they played their ass off. The whole Jeremiah Smith to 3 yards on one catch, and then Carnell Tate, he did his thing, and Ohio State, they just made more plays. Like Will Howard on the 4th and 2, you gotta get him off the field. You got to, man. And I hate going at this defense, but again, Pete Kwiatkowski, obviously the wrong call at the wrong time. Like, you gotta think Will Howard, he uses his legs, he's gonna run this thing. Yeah. Put more in the box. Put more on that side. They had 3 guys on the outside on a trip set, and Will Howard ran to the left. Like, you got to see that. You got to see that. So,
and that's what the season that's what the season became, Zay, is where you're leaning and you're relying on the defense. And man, they stepped up to the plate each and every damn time. I mean, we can say what we want to say about tonight, but still on the offense, just the lack of creativity. And you said a while ago about changing stuff up. Man, if something's working really, really good, leave it the fuck alone. Don't do anything to it. But when it's stale and it stinks and it's not productive, you got to go to the well and do something different. And It would be even more frustrating to me, Zay, if it was the fact that you didn't have the better athletes, if you didn't have the better team. But look on that's the frustrating part. I mean, play calling and all that's one thing. Look at the offensive side of the football on this team this year. Look at what you had right there. Guys on the outside, the running backs, the offensive line. Yeah, people are going to question the quarterback, whatever. I don't give a shit which quarterback you're talking about. There aren't a lot of teams that are going to have a better quarterback than Texas had this year, either one of those guys. But still, you lacked creativity. You were totally predictable. The other team knew what was coming because it was just nothing. It was nothing. And you got to fix that. You got to fix that because you can lean on that defense all you want, but goddamn, at some point that defense is going to put up a white flag.
Yeah, and Ohio State, they're going to relish those 4 plays right on the goal line. Again, like you get 2 back-to-back pass interference calls. And what Playbender's saying, great, congrats to Ohio State. They're the better team for sure. Just shows how crucial or critical a mobile quarterback in today's game is. Like, yeah, but you had that. You had a mobile quarterback on the goal line. You could have brought him in. Like, you brought him in for a couple of plays, and it worked out. 4th and 2, A&M. You bring in Arch Manning. He gets you a touchdown to really set the tone of the game. You got a 4th down call. Arch Manning in this game gets you a first down. So when you're on the goal line, 1 yard to go, why wouldn't you put him in? Like, I hope somebody asks Steve Sarkisian that question. I really do, because that's the question of all offseason. And yeah, I saw somebody on the Clean Calls YouTube text line like say, hey, Sark wasted Quinn Ewers' years. At this moment, it's hard to not agree with that. It is. And again, I get it. He was very loyal to him. He really was. But also, you got to know his limitations, man. You do. Like, and to be arrogant just to think that Ohio State team is going to budge on 4th and 1, got another thing coming. That's what the best goal line team in the nation. Oh, yeah. And you get under center, which, okay, you bring in Barron Sorrell and just the whole bringing in defensive players for these offensive play stuff. I don't agree with that. I really don't. That's just a bad move. I think Barron Sorrell came in and tried to block, and I don't know who missed their block. But again, you got Jared Gibson, who hasn't touched the field. He gets the ball, gets stuffed, and this is the worst play. Like the Jack Sawyer play, that's what everybody's going to remember. But the worst play was the 2nd down on the toss, on just the toss sweep to Travion Weisner. That was horrible. That was horrible because now it sets you back. You got to get them going north and south. Like the whole going east and west thing, guys like Caleb Downs, they're too good. JT Tuamulao, too good. And shout out to him for coming back in and being a difference still, with that ankle injury. Like Ohio State, all those guys on defense are going to be playing on Sundays. So to run that weak-ass sweep, that's just not the call, Sark. That was a very arrogant call. And I don't know what's going through his mind to think that is okay at the time. That's brutal. Then next play, Quinn Ewers gets the ball back on 3rd down, and 4th down, Jack Sawyer play. Takes it absolutely to the house to make it 28-14. That's a ball game right there. So Longhorns go down in the semifinals, 28-14 to end the season. Absolutely brutal. 13-3. Lose to Georgia twice. You lose to Ohio State. This team absolutely special. It's going to be a lot of what ifs from here to next August. And you got to go back to Ohio State really early, with Arch Manning and the crew. And you lose a lot of guys. Who knows that it's going to be Mookie Taft's last game. Andrew Makuba, this is the last hoorah for him. Barron Sorrell's done. Jolly Barenthorpe Award winner. This is his last game. You don't get many opportunities like this, Rodney, with this much of leadership, this much talent. And to flush it away the way they did. As Timmy Taco says, 231 long days till the 2025 season officially starts. And damn it, I got to watch this freaking awful basketball team tomorrow. So that makes me feel better. That I got to watch that. Shout out to Vic Schaefer and them. They have a chance to win a national championship. So women's basketball doing their thing for some type of positivity here on the Texas Sports Unfiltered post game. But shit, it's a tough night.
Yeah, I like what Joe K says. Yeah, let's think about baseball and Vic's team, because I think that's going to be – and this is the thing that you end the season the way that this ended tonight. And you get to dwell on this all during the offseason. You get to think about this. And it does go back to, if anything, I'm sure people are going to be happy because the Quinn Ewers era is over. He's played his last game as quarterback here, as far as I can tell. So now you move on. And I think a lot of people will say this will never happen again because Arch Manning will be taking over. But I'm here to tell you, Zay, if you don't fix that play calling, I don't give a shit who's back there. If the play calling's bad, you can have Arch Manning or anybody else over there. But when you get in clutch situations where you've got to have a genius over there calling plays, reading off that Waffle House fucking menu to call plays, the same thing's going to happen. The same thing's going to happen. You got to clean that up. You got to clean. And look, it's learning, man. I've said it for a couple of weeks to where Steve Sarkisian has been on this track to make himself a championship winning coach. Oh, man, he hit a hell of a speed bump tonight, man, because all off season, that's going to be the conversation. That last drive, because it was right in front of you.
It's right there. 1 yard line. It doesn't get much better than that. 1 yard line. Like what could you say? Like, that's just a huge punch to the gut, man. And 231 days until the next season starts. But you don't get, seasons like this very often. And you got a favorable schedule next year too. You do. I know that October is tough, and all those games are away games, and Florida's going to be really solid with DJ Lagway coming into his second year, and I'm sure Gunnar Stockton's going to get better because you got to go to Athens and stuff, but it's still a favorable schedule, and you're right, Double R. It doesn't matter who's back there. Like Arch Manning, we expect him to be great, but he still has to prove it. It's the keys are going to be handed to him, but he still has to prove it. And if that play calling is still a little suspect, we have no idea how that's going to go. But again, appreciate everybody for rocking with us all season long here on Texas Sports Unfiltered, man. Our team's best of the best when it comes to just breaking down all of Texas sports. We have a good time, and hate that this is our last post game, but we appreciate our sponsors that have been rocking with us all year long. Covert Bee Cave, 34 Wine and Spirits, Audiovisual Consultations, the Clean Calls YouTube comments line, Verde's Mexican Paella, Kenfield Golf Cars, Top Gun Rentals and Law Equipment, Hat Creek Burger Company, Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill, and Paul's Motor Works. Appreciate you guys for allowing us to do what we do. And that's another reason why this is so tough, because I love this shit. I love talking Texas football. I love jumping on the post-game show and, talking with you guys and hearing the great people on, the YouTube Clean Calls line and the Coda text line, which keep hitting us up there. Like and subscribe if you haven't done that. Get the app for Texas Sports Unfiltered. But yeah, man, it's just the absolute blast. Domino's, got to shout them out because they're a part of the post-game show also. And again, it's been an absolute blast. But last game of the year, Horns go down 28-14. Let's get to some of the mentions. Clean Calls, a better for you beverage on a mission to support addiction recovery Everybody needs a healthier energy boost. Only 160 mgs of organic yerba mate, and it won't cause those crash and jitters like coffee and traditional energy drinks do. You don't want any of that because that come down, that's a bad look. It doesn't feel good. You're working, it's 2 o'clock, you got more hours of work, and then you crash. You won't do that with Clean Cause, man, because they got sparkling 0 calories, sparkling low calories, non-carbonated yerba mate that's only sweetened by organic cane sugar. And best of all, 50% of the net profits go to support addiction recovery. That's absolutely beautiful. They've already racked up and donated over $3 million so far. They're just getting started. So grab a better for you boost and help make a difference. Clean Cause. Yeah, double R to what B Moon is saying. Like the SEC was down this year. You're not getting one SEC team in the national championship.
Mm-hmm.
Like that just makes it even more painful because you had a grand opportunity to, with a lighter schedule than normal, to get to a national championship. And again, Notre Dame, ain't no one scared of Notre Dame at all. Ohio State's going to beat the brakes off those boys. It's going to get ugly, real ugly. Like, it was right in front of you. You had a tie game, 14-14. Like, you just have so many opportunities. The ground game not working was a killer. Still having those self-inflicting wounds with penalties at the wrong times. And again, like this offensive line, they should have been a lot better. They should have been. Like, they're probably better last year. And maybe a lot of that has to do with draft pick Christian Jones being on the team. Like, he was terrific at right tackle, and Cam Williams was good. But you just, with all the guys you bring back, Jake Majors, his experience, Kelvin Banks, and I know they got hurt at different times, but I was disappointed, overall with what this offensive line brought to the table or lack thereof, because in the biggest games of the season, you weren't able to run the ball at all. Like 58 yards on 29 attempts. That's atrocious. That's bad. And again, I get it. It's Ohio State. They're a really good team, but the standard's the standard here at Texas. Like, you got to get over 100 yards somehow. You got to have some balance. And the fact that you can't punch it in on the 1 yard line on that drive where Jack Sawyer gets the strip sack fumble, it's a killer. It's an absolute killer. And now those guys are going to be gone. A lot of those guys going to the draft. I'm sure this is the last season for Cam Williams, which Dan Neal, great Dan Neal, should be in the College Football Hall of Fame for how good he was at Texas in the 90s. When he jumps on Chip and Zay, he says Cam Williams should come back. That's what he tells us. He's like, Cam Williams, I know that the potential's there. Look at the size, look at the measurements, but for a guy that's played a lot of NFL football like Dan Neal has, Super Bowl champion 2 times, not 1, 2 times, right. Super Bowl champ.
Right.
If he says Cam Williams should come back, I'm going to ride with Dan because that's a big-time credible source. So Cam Williams, again, Kyle Flood, Steve Sarkisian in that exit meeting, I know that money looks good, but you could be a top 10 pick, Cam Williams, if you get rid of some of those penalties, get another year in the game, and him and DJ Campbell, that chemistry, that just could have been better. Like Christian Jones, the chemistry with DJ Campbell last year, DJ Campbell was a better right guard. And Cam Williams, he doesn't have that experience quite yet to where the communication with him and DJ Campbell was money. And DJ Campbell, he took a step back this season. Big reason why you saw Cole Hudson in the game at a lot of those times. And look, it's hard, to bitch at a team that won 13 games, but that's just what it is. Sorry, this is Texas. I'm sorry. I just can't help it. Like, this is Texas. You gotta capitalize with this type of roster.
The ceiling was just so high for this team. And everything you were just talking about a while ago, whether it be the schedule, all of that, it all laid out for you. And then when this when this playoff bracket comes out, it's like, holy shit. I mean, can it get any better? I mean, it's all right there. It's all right there. And the thing about it is it's, that you started seeing the cracks in the foundations. I go back to, and I talk a lot about, the body of work but people are only thinking about what they've seen recently. And I keep going back to that second half of the A&M game, to where it's like, that's where you kind of started seeing things that came back and bit you in the ass when it was all said and done. I mean, you lit those guys back in the game, just like you did against Arizona State, just like you did against Clemson. I mean, you can't do that. You can't, or you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. Not with the staff, not with the players that you have, not with the systems that you have in place. You shouldn't be doing that shit. And look, man, I love the offensive line and the defensive line game, but damn it, man, this offensive line, it's like, guys, major steps backwards. Injuries happen, but still, it's the stupid penalties, it's the pre-snap stuff, all of that shit that we kept seeing that never went away. We talk about not being able to score from the 1 yard line tonight. There's been red zone problems anyway. It was just magnified tonight. So there's all this that's there, and still you had a chance, a damn good chance, to go bust Notre Dame in the chops. And you let it get away.
Finally win a third quarter. Like you finally put up 7-0 in the third quarter. You're tied going into the fourth, and that was a killer drive, man, for Ohio State.
7:45,
yeah, 7:45 gets ticked off the clock. They go 88 yards on 13 plays. The highlight of that drive for OSU was the 4th and 2 where Will Howard trips over himself to get the first down, and it's brutal, man. It's absolutely brutal. Manny Muhammad had a tough, pass interference call on the first play, which also was a bad call by the refs because Emeka Egbuka held Manny Muhammad before the pass interference even happened on Manny. So that should have been called first, or there should have been an X'd out play, no call there. But yeah, it's brutal, man. It's brutal. Like, you missed the hold call, Colin Simmons. Texas fans are going to remember that for a long time because it's 3rd and 8 and Tate gets a first down up the field. It's just, oh, God, I just can't explain how brutal of a loss this is, man. This is absolutely just gut-wrenching. Gut-wrenching. And the coaches, a couple of bad plays, Trevion Henderson's screen pass to make it 14-7 was a killer, and not scoring on 1st and goal on the 1 yard line, and you end up going backwards where you get to the 8 yard line for 2 plays, and the Jack Sawyer strip sack fumble for a touchdown. Ball game 28-14. All right, Double R. Let's get to the offensive MVP, brought to you by Verde's Mexican Parrilla.
Yeah, we'll talk about Verde's here in just a second, but it's like every post game. It's like same script, man. It's like, man, so many defensive MVPs. You got to find one on offense. Well, tonight there were a few. Because it was. This offense did kind of wake itself up, and it did show a lot. And look, man, I got to go with Jaden Blue, because there were a lot of times during the season, with the fumbles and so forth, to where it would have been really easy for Jaden Blue to just, hang his head and just, let the mental side of this game just beat him up. But again, where we're bitching about the coaching staff did a hell of a job keeping him on the straight and narrow and getting him back in the right frame of mind to play this game. And tonight, 2 touchdowns, receiving touchdowns. Got to go with Jaden Blue, if anything, for tonight. But the way he's pulled himself up off the mat, that's a great story. And look, friends, we're not saying that the season is a waste, because there are a lot of great things that happened this year. It's just there were so many more things that could have happened. Jaden Blue, I give it to tonight, man. He was constant. He was constant tonight. I'll go with 23 as Verde's Mexican Parrilla offensive player of the game.
Man, Double R, you nicer than me because I'm saying it's a waste. Like I'm sorry. I have to. This roster is just way too good. You're not going to get this type of leadership very often. You're not going to get this type of talent very often. This was a waste. Like, you don't win the SEC championship. Yeah, you beat Oklahoma, but this Oklahoma team was trash. You know, you beat A&M. That's cool. That's fun. But that also makes you very hopeful to have success when it really counts. And again, they got lucky against Arizona State, in my opinion. Like the Quinn Ewers, he bailed them out, 4th and 13. Him and Matthew Golden, he bailed them out when Sark got out coached in that game, along with the rest of the coaching staff. Bert Auburn was trashed all year, so trash that you bench him in the biggest game of the year for Will Stone. Like Jeff Banks, that's on you. They didn't block any punts this year. Silas Bolden had a solid punt return last year at the end, but last game in the Arizona State. But like I just this type of roster and this type of favorable schedule with the SEC being this week doesn't come around very often. You're going to have so many guys enter the draft, which is good news. That looks good for recruiting and stuff, but I'm sorry. What I saw tonight, you had a grand opportunity to beat a team that didn't play their best game, and you completely blew it with horrible play calling. Like this, there's a standard at Texas, and yeah, I'm sorry. Like, it's just they didn't meet that standard. But for my offensive MVP, brought to you by Verde's Mexican Paella, I'm going to go with Quinn Ewers. I know a lot of people might hate that decision. I could care less of a damn because look what the running game did tonight. The running game was absolutely horrific. You got 58 yards on 29 carries. Like, Quinn Ewers was the only bright spot of this game. And even though he had some bad moments, like, it wasn't on him at all, in my opinion. 283 yards, 23 for 39, 2 touchdowns, hitting Jaden Blue on those terrific wheel routes, which those were good calls by Sark, but it's not Quinn Ewers' fault they couldn't punch it in on the 1-yard line. Again, horrible play calling. Like, you got to put Arch Manning in the game. You got to have somebody that's mobile with his legs. Like Quinn Ewers, he's mobile at times, but overall, he's not. So when you're on the 1-yard line, you got to mix it up. You cannot be vanilla in those situations. And we talked about it leading up to this game. Hey, Arch Manning, you're going to need him. And you used him at times. You didn't use him at the right time. But that play by Quinn Ewers to keep the play going, where his knee almost hit the freaking ground and he tossed it to Trevion Wisner on that 3rd and 10. That's a great huge play, man. Like, for him to improvise like that, that's just a terrific play. Like, the dude fought hard tonight. He absolutely fought hard, and it sucks that his Texas career came down to a game like this where Steve Sarkisian overall didn't call his best game. I'm going to show love to Quinn Ewers tonight. Give him the offensive MVP, brought to you by Verde's Mexican Paella.
That's right. Verde is located on Hamilton Pool Road off 71. Verde's Mexican Paella is serving up an extensive menu of all your traditional and Tex-Mex favorites right there. You can head out there tomorrow or sometime this weekend. We've got a beautiful indoor dining area that makes for a great date night if that's something that you want to do. And outside, covered patio. Maybe you don't want to be out there right now. It's still a little chilly. Going to be a little chilly for the next few days. But still, you can go inside. You can go outside. And it's a great place you can dine in or you can take out as well. They can also host your party and cater your next one. Whatever you have, they will take care of you. Next time you're there, be sure and mention Texas Sports Unfiltered, and you'll get a free appetizer. Check them out. It's Verde's Mexican Paella, and they sponsor our offensive MVP on the Texas Sports Unfiltered postgame show.
Yeah, some of y'all, like, I really don't understand what y'all talking about. Like, do we understand what university that we're following here? This is Texas. Anytime you don't win a national championship, it's a failure. With this roster, especially so. I'm sorry. Like, I just don't – I can't sugarcoat this shit. I can't do it. Every time you lose and don't make it to the national championship when you have a roster full of NFL players. Last year was a failure. This year was a failure. Every season that you don't win it, it's a failure. I get it. There might be degrees on that, but it's a failure season, and it sucks to say that. I hate to be the bad guy. I hate for Doomsday to come out as the great Trip Brown always calls me. You had opportunities to capitalize here, to tie the game, and you make some horrible calls. Sark's getting paid $10 million. He got bonuses like $300,000 for winning the Clemson game, $300,000 more for winning the freaking Arizona State game, which all that $300,000 should be going to the team and Quinn Ewers and Matthew Golden for saving his ass.
Yep.
Straight up. But instead, it's going to go to freaking Turks or Caicos or some shit with L'Oreal on vacation. Because you know L'Oreal high maintenance. Like, that's a fine woman. Like, you got to make sure L'Oreal is, right. And like, I get that with Sark. But shit. It's a failure season. Y'all saying I'm going too hard? Hey, maybe I could calm down later, but this will sting forever. I'm going Sandlot forever. This is going to sting. Just like Colt McCoy not being able to play in the national championship game because he got hurt. We still talk about that shit. This is one of those games. This is one of those moments. Blake Gideon getting beat by Michael Crabtree. This is one of them moments. Chris Sims sucking it up in the Big 12 championship game, 0-2, when you had a chance to go to the national championship game. This is one of those moments. Like, I just, standard. There's a standard here. You're going to send so many guys to the league, which that's going to be a beautiful thing to see. All those guys being able to pay for their families and being able to be that, person to bring in generational wealth and stuff and become millionaires. That's going to be a beautiful thing, man. But that's also what hurts so much because the talent on this squad, it's incredible. It's incredible. The guys, the pride, the team that you have, to lose it the way that you did tonight, like, yes, it is a failure of a season. It is. And that sucks to say. I hate saying it. Y'all might hate me for it, but this team's do good. This team was special, man. This team, the bond that they have, the togetherness. They kicked Jonte Cook's ass off like it wasn't nothing because you know what? He was a cancer in the locker room. Couldn't have that shit. Yep. We're together here, Double R. Yep. You know what I'm saying? We got some, and you could have used them tonight, straight up. I wish his head was on straight because that dude's a former 5-star, and we saw what happened with Isaiah Bond. They didn't utilize Silas Bolden enough. Like, you could have probably used him tonight if his head was on straight, but clearly that dude went AWOL. He got mental health problems, the whole nine. It was a failure of a season. This team was too talented not to be playing for a national championship and winning that thing. Yeah. So, look, man, I get y'all. Some of y'all more positive than me. Good for y'all. You know what? We need that in this world because there's a lot of negativity in this world. We need positive people to look at the bright spots of life. And if you think Texas still had a successful season, I salute you for being that positive, kind-hearted person. I salute you. I wish I was like that. Yeah. The competitor in me, I'm sorry, I'm a coach's son. The competitor in me, and just won't let that happen. Just won't let that happen. I know MJ still can't stand losing in Game 7 in Eastern Conference Finals to the Detroit Pistons. I know he probably still thinks about that shit all the fucking time. 6 rings on his finger. Still thinks about it all the time. Kobe, God bless his soul, always talked about losing to the Celtics 08. Being a Laker, losing to the Celtics 08. What drove him to play in the next year and beat the Celtics 2010 and beat the Orlando Magic to go back-to-back without Shaquille O'Neal? The competitors, they hate to lose more than they love to win. This shit hurts, bro. This shit hurts. And look, it's going to take a very long time. I don't think I'll ever get over this, Double R. I'll always remember this till I'm 6 feet deep, man. Hopefully that's not for a long while. I got a lot of shit to accomplish, for real. Well, but I'm always going to think about this game, man, because that Ohio State team, is incredible. You got to salute them. They're for real. They deserve all the love that they've gotten and that they continue to get. Ryan Day, Chip Kelly, Jim Knowles, all those guys have been money this season to do what they have done after the Michigan loss. You got to pay respect when respect's due. But that's also what makes it so much harder because they gave you so many chances tonight. They couldn't capitalize.
They spoon-fed you every opportunity to beat them. And you still, it would be one thing if you could put it on the players, like when you talk about Chris Sims, when you talk about these different things, that's an individual thing right there on the field. But when it comes to the people that are being paid handsomely to not put the team in these positions and they fuck up, that's where it gets extremely frustrating.
Yeah.
Extremely frustrating because they're paid to not make those mistakes, Zay. And they keep happening. And they keep happening. And my confidence level wasn't very good going into this game. And when it started, it really started dropping. But then I look up and you're in position to still win. And you don't. And you don't.
Yeah. And you and I both picked Ohio State to win this game. And, you know, I had it Ohio State 27-24. I thought it'd be a lot closer, which in a way it was. Like the last plays, you know, they score, make it 21-14. But we saw, again, just you're on the goal line. You're on the 1 yard line. You get back-to-back pass interference calls. They give you opportunities. You don't take advantage, strip sack, score. Ohio State covers and then some, but man, it's got a laugh from controlling myself from crying. It's one of those, but let's get to the defensive MVP brought to you by Kenfield Golf Cars. Feel like a lot of guys stepped up, you know, on the defense, you know, even though they gave up that timely drive or 7 minutes, 45 seconds, 13 plays, you know, just brutal, 88 yards. This defense still fought their ass off in this game. They fought their ass off all year. Double R, I will start with you for the defensive MVP brought to you by Kenfield Golf Cars.
Yep, as we always talk about, man, a lot of dudes that you can give that nod to. And it's like what's been so special to watch about this defense is it kind of happens in cycles to where, you know, for a little bit it's Vernon Broughton, and then you get dudes out on the edge that are making different plays or whatever. Look, man, I got to go old school and give it to David Bender tonight, man.
Yeah.
He got a couple of huge plays for him. And I'm glad, man, that even though that this ended the way that it ended, I'm glad that David Bender had two badass highlights in this game tonight. The 3rd and 1, and then obviously the interception. And did you see how high he went up to catch that?
He got up.
Damn, look at 33.
He got up. Yeah. That's some African legs.
That's exactly some African legs right there. To see him show out on that big stage, that's another dude, man, that makes it so frustrating. That's a dude that deserved to play in a national championship game. Everything that he's been through here, all the bullshit that he's been through here, that dude deserved to be in a national championship game and get a chance to win a natty. I mean, he gets the Kenfield Golf Cars Defensive Player of the Game MVP for me, but that ain't shit compared to what he should get.
Yo, you're absolutely right, Double R. And 6-year senior, he's seen the bad times, man. Yep. Super bad. You're going 5-7 and stuff like that. And he stuck it out. And he got better each season. And he's one of the many leaders on this team. And for him to, in a way, get his spot taken, because, again, I always got to reference Jonte Cook because, again, the dude was a cancer, and he's what you don't want to be as a student athlete or any athlete. But David Bender lost his starting job to Leonga Lafau.
Yep.
He didn't bitch.
Didn't complain.
He didn't cry. He didn't moan. He didn't complain. You know, Johnny Nansen doesn't really know the guy. He's been a Jeff Choate guy the whole time. Jeff Choate leaves, become a head coach. Here comes Johnny Nansen in. This guy benches me. That could really mess up your mental. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And David Bender didn't budge. If anything, he became more of a leader because he didn't let it affect him. He realized, you know what? The coaches have my best interests. They wouldn't be doing this unless if it gave us a better chance to win the ball game. So it's not like I'm not going to play, but I'm going to be more fresh. And whenever my number is called, I'm going to produce. And he did that tonight. He's my Kenfield golf cart MVP also, defensive MVP also.
Yeah.
Because
that dude,
those big plays, man, I absolutely love that dude. Yep. From another dark-skinned brother to another dark-skinned brother, I got to give that dude love, man. I hope he gets a shot in the NFL because he's one of those guys. He's going to be an amazing locker room guy. He's going to be a lot like what's my man, Schooler, who got first team all special teams today for the National Football League playing with the New England Patriots. Like, he's going to find his way on a 53-man roster just doing the dirty work. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or he'll be on the practice squad, and then he'll get his opportunity, and they're going to see how valuable he is because he's just a high IQ football player, and he'll do whatever it takes for the team to be successful. So, yeah, that's just another reason why this hurts Double R, because those guys, David Bender, he ain't coming back for 2025. Nope. Like, that's just – yeah. That's a killer, man, and you're right. He definitely deserves to be playing in the national.
And that dude, Zay, it's like that dude. Every play that he played, he plays like it's the last play that he's ever going to play. I mean, he has that mindset to where this could be the last play that I'm ever going to play, and he sells out on every play. And I wish the circumstances were different tonight, because it is. Guys like that deserve through all the bullshit. And it's been bad. It's been bad. It's been bad. Dude deserves a chance. And glad to see what he did tonight. He deserves it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Jeez. God, man, trying to make me tear up here, Double R, but I'm going to keep it strong. I'm going to keep it tough, man. God, I can't see that side of me, dig, even though it's hard times, man. I got to keep it gully in this thing. But David Bender, defensive MVP for Double R, and I, brought to you by Kenfield Golf Carts. If you are in the market for a new or pre-owned golf cart, we got great news for you. Our friends at Kenfield Golf Cars are right around the corner. Founded in 1979. They have been unparalleled to anybody out here. That's a long time now to be in the game and doing it at a high quality rate like Kenfield Golf Cart has done. Great selection of golf carts available, new or used. If you want to turn your existing golf cart into something special, they could do that. Or if you want to start from scratch and build from the ground up, Kenfield Golf Cars will take your ideas and make it into a reality. No job is too big. No job is too small. They will take care and fix whatever needs that you have. Nobody does it better than Kenfield Golf Cars. So check out their website at kenfieldgolfcars.com. And for more info, give them a call at 512-258-8515. That's 512-258-8515. Kenfield Golf Cars, our defensive MVP. All right, damn it. Now we got to go to the tip of the cap, which, hey, shout out to our guys at Top Gun Rental and Law Equipment, man. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us, but hate doing the tip of the cap for win, Double R. It doesn't feel right one bit, but we got to do it. I will start off on this just because you got to read out the mention in a bit, but I got to go to, Cardell Tate, man. Cardell Tate, 7 catches, 87 yards. I mean, you would think.
Third option. Yeah.
Third option. Like, he was a problem tonight. And, again, it's wide receiver U at Ohio State. From Jackson Smith-Njigba to, Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. It seems like, Marvin Harrison Jr., all they do is produce wide receivers. And you got to give love to Brian Hartline. Brian Hartline is the best wide receiver coach in the nation. And if you take guys like Jeremiah Smith out of the picture and only give him 1 catch for 3 yards, I hear that, and I'm thinking, oh, shit, Texas wins by 20. Yep. Like, Jeremiah Smith, he's the one that's been killing these last 2 weeks. Like, we've been hearing all the hype with him, how everybody will take this guy if he was eligible for the draft. You're not because he's a freshman, but everybody would take him number one over two-side player Travis Hunter, Heisman winner. That says a lot about your game. One catch for 3 yards. Somebody had to step up, and it was Carnell Tate. The dude was absolutely money on that dumbass no call by the refs where Colin Simmons got held, but we didn't see any laundry. Carnell Tate had a huge catch on that play, and it seemed like every time Ohio State needed a big play, Carnell Tate was the man to do it. So, unfortunately, he came through as the third option, and that's why he's my tip of the cap player, brought to you by Top Gun Rentals and Law Equipment.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. He was, everything else was accounted for except that dude. And came back to bite. And he bit hard tonight. Mine, Top Gun Rentals and Lawn Equipment tip of the cap, with the new college football that we have now, with NIL and guys moving around, and you can play college football longer. Man, Will Howard finally got him one. Will Howard finally got him one. And, when he tripped and fell, as he's falling, I'm thinking he's going to fumble. He's going to fumble. He's going to find a way to fuck this up again. But look, man, he got himself to the most loaded team in college football, and he's going to guide them to a national championship. Will Howard is going to guide Ohio State to a national championship. And look, man, he took command of the game tonight. He was a field general. He ran when he had to. He hit the receivers when he had to, and played championship football tonight, man. Got to go with Will Howard, which is weird to say.
Yeah. I mean, the dude, he showed some toughness, man. That 4th and 2 that he got, like, you saw his left hand. Like, I didn't even know. Something ain't right about that. Like, something fractured. Everybody's like, it's just a notch. The hand, that looked crazy. Like, it's going to take more than a Band-Aid to help that out. That hand was absolutely disgusting. And the dude act like it didn't faze him at all. Like, you saw him getting hype with Jack Sawyer after Jack Sawyer had that big-time strip sack fumble touchdown. Like, he was pushing them and shoving them and shit. And it's like, damn, man. Like, how are you not just screaming in agony? Because his hand was mucked up, and he had a gutty performance. He made some big throws when they needed them. He had some big runs when they needed them, and this wasn't his best game. 24 for 33, 289 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. But, yeah, I understand why you gave it to Will Howard, man, and finally got him one, unfortunately. In the biggest moment, he beat Texas. He's 1-4 against the Longhorns, so I guess kudos to Will Howard.
That's it. Our friends at Top Gun, they're going to help you with any job that you may have, offer an extensive selection of rental equipment for everything from the small home projects that you might do yourself to the big commercial stuff. Top Gun is going to handle that with the biggest brands there is, the biggest and the best, like Steel, Hustler, Toro, Walker, DeWalt, and more. Our main man, Brandon Mars, and the team will hook you up with whatever you need to get the job done. Like I said, big or small, they're there to take care of you. They are the number one source, Austin's number one source for all of your equipment rentals, sales, and supplies. And it's been that way since 1996. 2 Austin area locations up north in Anderson Square, and then down south in beautiful Buda. It is topgun.net. Remember what we say, Top Gun will shoot you straight. And they present our tip of the cap, and never more a pain in the fucking ass to have to give a tip of the cap than tonight.
Yeah, I know, man. It's tough. It's absolutely tough. But here we are. Texas Longhorns lose last game of the season in the semifinal at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, 28-14 against the Ohio State Buckeyes. Time for the offensive play of the game, brought to you by Hat Creek Burger Company. And I'll let you start with this one, Double R. A few plays made offensively that could be up for this award for sure, but obviously not enough.
You mentioned this play a while ago, man, and a lot of our folks on Clean Cause YouTube chat line and the Coda text line aren't going to like this, man. But that Quinn Ewers, man, that was one hell of an improv right there on that play. And you know that a couple of times with Quinn, you know, that I was thinking about while we were sitting there talking about him, like when he took off with the ball in the first half, and you see him look over towards a first down marker. I mean, it's those intangibles right there. But that play right there, that dude was dead to rights. I mean, that guy was dead to rights right there. And to have the wherewithal that we like to say to be able to shuffle that thing off to Quintavious Weisner, and you go get a first down. It's those plays, man. It's those kind of plays that do make Quinn Ewers special. I mean, say what you want to say about him. He carried this team tonight on offense because the running game was horrible. But that play right there, it's going to be on the highlight reel, as it should be. It's a hell of a play. It's a hell of a play at a clutch time. I'm going that way with QE3 for the offensive play of the game.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I mean, need to tie the game. It's 3rd and 10, and Jake Majors, to start the drive, gets a horrible false start, goes back to the discipline of this team, or lack thereof, just because you got to be better than that. And Quinn Ewers not being phased, 3rd and 10, improvises and makes a hell of a play to keep the ball moving, which leads to my offensive play of the game, brought to you by Hat Creek Burger Company. 3rd and 7, wheel route, Jaden Blue, absolute money. Like, I hope Jaden Blue comes back. I really do. I know, you know, the running back room is going to be super heavy, which, again, you played 16 games this year. You need all the guys you could get. And who knows, God forbid, but who knows if we have a CJ Baxter incident again, or Christian Clark. He wasn't available. And I thought Jared Gibson should have came along a lot better. Like, I felt like this team, the coaching staff, really forgot about him, and then you just throw him in there on
until the last drive.
Drive, the first play. He hasn't had enough reps to maybe be trusted in that moment. You know, I don't know, a lot of what ifs, but yeah, the wheel route for Jaden Blue, that was working in the red zone. You know, that was some of Steve Sarkisian's best work. And again, Jaden Blue, hope he comes back, had a really tough season, underachieving season. Like, you thought that this would be the year for him, especially with CJ going down. He'd have that Jonathan Brooks, Bijan Robinson type year, like contract year. For a running back, it's best that you leave your junior year. That's just what it is. You want to get in the league as young as possible, because that whole narrative, when you turn 27, not too many guys are Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley, that after 27, they're still some of the top backs in the league. So you got to strike while the iron's hot, but I think he has a lot to learn still, and they're going to need all their running game next year, you know, because Jake Majors gone, Kelvin Banks gone, most likely Cam Williams gone, DJ Campbell has a chance to leave. So a big shift on the offensive line for a lot of guys that don't have as much experience coming in. You're going to need your running backs to be money. So, yeah, my offensive play of the game goes to that second touchdown on the wheel route by Jaden Blue to make it 14-14, brought to you by Hat Creek Burger Company. Hat Creek Burger Company started as a food truck behind the legendary Star Bar on West 6, dating back to 2008. And since then, all they've done is grow in the Texas area with 26 locations: Waco, Temple, Austin, San Antonio, Houston, and Dallas. Despite their rapid growth, their mission remains the same. Hat Creek Burger will always be a great place for great food, great folks, and great fun. And it's just that simple. So go get their world famous Hat Creek burgers, their salads, their nuggets, their fries, their shakes at any Hat Creek location. Hat Creek Burger Company. And that is the offensive play of the game. Now, Time for the defensive play of the game, brought to you by Moonshine, Patio, Bar, and Grill. Double R, I will start this off. I'm going to go with David Binda on the 3rd and 2. He makes the huge stop on Quinshon Judkins to give the ball back to the Texas Longhorns. And look, that was just a big part of what this defense has brought all year. Like that play with Travion Henderson getting the screen pass, that's on Pete Kwiatkowski. That wasn't on the defense. And I wish that Ant Hill could have been like, nah, PK, this is a horrible call. Let's get out of this. But they trust PK. They trust him to make the right moves at the right times. And you hear Jahdae Barron and guys like that call PK the genius and stuff like that. That play wasn't a genius move. And even though it didn't end up hurting them too bad because of a very uncharacteristic third quarter where the Longhorns actually won it and played some really good football again in the third, shit like that shouldn't be happening. You know what I'm saying? And that's just another move that the coaching staff mucked up on tonight. And it sucks because, again, with this roster, the way this defense was put together, and overall the defense was money all year long. They were. And David Binda on the interception, a big play, Colin Simmons, it could have went to him because he had a big-time bat on the ball. And again, Longhorn fans will always remember that non-holding call. But, yeah, just absolutely tough. I thought they made enough plays overall to win the game. Ohio State's been scoring 40 in every game. They only scored 21 points on the offensive side tonight, so your defense was ahead of the curve there. And, clearly Jack Sawyer's run back gave them 7 extra points. But, a lot of David Binda love tonight, which is well-deserved because that guy played his heart out.
Yeah, and I'll go, staying with him. We talked about it a while ago. I'll go with the interception. That was a really special play. And that was, like you said, man, the African legs, man, that was a very athletic play that he made. And it was a whole sequence right there because then you had the stop right there that you're talking about. So it all of that right there, because it really was. And that's where I really started to think, Zay, that this could really be something special tonight, because when Texas won that third quarter, it was okay. That's fixed. That's finally fixed. And the coaching staff still found a way to fuck it up. But give me David Binda. Either of David Binda's plays, defensive play of the game. Damn.
Yeah, defensive play of the game. Brought to you by Moonshine, Patio, Bar, and Grill, one of my favorite places. I absolutely love their brunch, but their dinner menu is also immaculate. The chicken and waffles, the shrimp and grits, a couple of my favorites. And Moonshine, Patio, Bar, and Grill takes you back to a simpler time, comfortable, familiar, relaxed, and easygoing. Moonshine greets their guests like family. Not all restaurants have that type of hospitality, and Moonshine, they pride themselves on that, serving up a great cooking, just innovative take on classic American comfort foods. Moonshine menu satisfies even the big city taste. Our friends at Moonshine have been around for more than 20 years in the area of the ATX, and they want to thank you for the support, the people, for 2 decades plus of just high quality excellence. Again, dinner, terrific. Their brunch is absolutely amazing. The brunch buffet, go check those out at both of their locations, downtown and Avery Ranch. And if you're looking for more information to make a reservation, order online, go to moonshinegrill.com. That's moonshinegrill.com. Moonshine Patio, Bar, and Grill. Absolutely amazing. All right.
Final word.
Double R, the last final word of the season. Been dreading this moment, man, but here we are. The final word brought to you by Paul's Motor Works. I will let you talk about Paul's Motor Works first and then break down your final word, my friend.
Absolutely. Paul's Motor Works, providing complete foreign and domestic auto repair in the Austin area since 2000, specializing in BMWs, Mini Coopers, Mercedes-Benz, Audis, Volkswagens, and Porsche. The list goes on, but it's much more than that. They can handle the serious stuff, and they can also take care of the minor stuff. They can take care of oil changes, brake jobs, all of that. From major to minor, Paul's Motor Works are going to take care of you. Don't just trust your car to anyone. Like I say all the time, man, you're rolling around in a very valuable investment. Your vehicle means so much to you. It's got to get you to and from where you're going. And you don't just let anybody touch that thing. You just don't let anybody twist and tweak on that thing. You've got to get an honest mechanic that you're going to trust. And that's the great people at Paul's Motor Works. Your search for a good mechanic, not a good mechanic, a great mechanic is over. Just go see Paul. Yeah, man, I wanted to do the final word on January 20th and say, God damn, this sure is nice. We can quit talking about the Vince Young days and all that, but man, just didn't happen. Didn't happen. So it's just a lot of head scratching, man. It's a lot of what could have been. I mean, that's what this season is. It's what could have been. What could have been. A lot of highlights, a lot of great continuity. Yeah, the culture's great and all of this. SEC, great. But you know what? What could have been? What could have been? That's how it ends. And it ends not, well, yes, it does. It ends on a scoop and score, but it's so much more than the scoop and score. It's everything that led to that. You can't fucking score from the 1 yard line. You're going backwards. I keep looking up on the Tom McKay AV Consultation setup over here, and they keep showing that damn play over and over and over, and it pisses me off more every time on the pitch. But it's that. It's like, yeah, man, making great strides, but are we? It's like you make the great strides, but shit, you see that some of the fundamental stuff needs a lot of work. And like you said, this special team, you're going to have a new quarterback next year. Quinn's going to be gone. But you know what? That offensive line is going to be a lot different. A lot of the guys that were here are going to be gone. And this defense that's been so special, a lot of those guys are going to be gone. And this is just what could have been. That's all that this is. And it ends in the semifinals yet again.
Yeah, I feel you, Double R. Hell of a final word, man. Yeah, it sucks. Again, we've been talking about it for the last hour and a half, and love you guys at TSU that follows us and listens to us every day from 8 to 4 p.m. Central. I mean, this year has been a hell of a ride. You know, this team is absolutely special. So many leaders, so many just terrific men, terrific young men that are going to do big things beyond football. You know, that's one of the beauties of coming to the University of Texas because, yeah, you get to play high-quality football at a big-time university, but the networking and relationships that you make while you're here, you're going to take that with you for the rest of your lives. And the reason why this hurts so much is because of how special that locker room is with the players. I mean, Jahdae Barron, those guys don't just grow on trees. You know what I'm saying? Guys like Kelvin Banks and, you know, Gunnar Helm and Michael Taft. It's just, I could keep going throughout the whole roster on how special these guys are and this team is. And to lose the way you did tonight, it kills you. It absolutely kills you. And, you know, as far as Quinn Ewers goes, like, Quinn Ewers still, say what you want about him, was one of the best quarterbacks to ever play at Texas. Just go look at the stats. And, yeah, there were times where wish he would have been better and you wish he would have been more on point. And, you know, he didn't have what Vince Young had. He doesn't have what Colt had, but he was pretty damn good. And there were times also, like we saw tonight, the coaching staff just didn't put him and the rest of the team in the best situation possible. You know, like you got 17 seconds left in the half, tie game at 7, you call a blitz. That's a horrible play. And yeah, there's guys on the field that should make that play, but if you drop guys back and just keep everything in front of you, you go into halftime 7-7. You know, it's always going to be that what if. Why you didn't put Arch Manning in the game when you got the ball at the 1 yard line, knowing that he could utilize his legs, knowing that the playbook opens up at the goal line when the playbook shrinkens. Like, that was a time to pull out Quinn Ewers, and Steve Sarkisian being overly loyal. It cost him. It cost him a shot of going to the national championship, and it sucks. It really does, because this team's so talented, man. Like Vernon Broughton, just where he's come from, Alfred Collins, where those guys come from. Like, those guys have gotten so much better. And you got to give love to the Kenny Bakers of the world and Johnny Nansons and stuff. You know, Jeff Banks, this was a down year for his special teams. It was. Kyle Flood, this was a down year for their offensive line. They should have been better. Like, overall, they were solid, but they should have been great. They should have been excellent. Yeah. And those guys, with all the experience they had, you can't put it in on the 1 yard line where you need those points. You need those points in that situation. Quinn Ewers drives you up the field. Big time pass to Gunnar Helm. Huge pass to Matthew Golden. Like, get there on the 1 yard line and you get 4 chances. And as you just referred to, Rodney, toss sweep on the second kills you, completely takes the life out of your team, which you shouldn't be here in the first place. If it wasn't for Quinn Ewers saving your ass on 4th and 13 against Arizona State, you wouldn't even have a final word to talk about now, because that would have been the last game last week. So you thought that the football gods would continue to be on this team's side. And again, I shouldn't be that surprised, because I did pick Ohio State to win, as did you, Double R, but you just had so many chances tonight to beat the best team in the nation that I think, and I'm sure everybody in America agrees too, is going to beat the absolute dog shit out of the Fighting Irish come January 20th. So I hate it. I hate it for these guys. I hate it for these players in the locker room. I hate it for the fans. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a fan too. Like, this season's been fun. We saw the potential and the opportunities that this squad had. We saw how special this squad was. And for them to come up short and go 13 and 3, excuse me, like, we'll be thinking about this season for a very long time. As you said, Ronnie, and I completely agree, this is a big what-if season. You don't get these opportunities very often. And now everybody's going to get their wish. Everybody that wanted Arch Manning to be the guy, here we go. Arch Manning journey, it starts here in 2025, which, talk about pressure. We thought Quinn Ewers had pressure.
Yep.
Not winning the national championship, then going to Arch. Holy shit. Like, we're going to see some pressure. We're going to see some cojones on Arch Manning. Like, people are picking them to win the Heisman already. Go look at Vegas. See who's number 1 to win the Heisman in 2025 already. It's Arch Manning. You know what I'm saying? People are picking Texas to win the whole thing next year because of number 16. And everybody's expecting him to be what his uncles were. And, hey, Longhorn fans that wanted this, you got your wish. So I'm ready for it. 231 days till opening day. It's going to be special, but that's a long 231 days. And until then,
think about it.
This one, a long time to think about it. This one's going to haunt Steve Sarkisian and his dreams. Like, even L'Oreal's fine self can't help him on this one. You know what I'm saying? I see Tom McKay say he got 10.5 mil. Either way, he'll be okay. Shit.
He's all right.
Shit, man. That's still going to hurt, boy. It's still going to be a huge pain to that side when he thinks about this one, because he knows he let one get away. He really did. So, again, appreciate everybody all year long for rocking with us at Texas Sports Unfiltered, the post-game show. Y'all are why we do this. Our sponsors, appreciate y'all from, Covert Bee Cave, 34 Wine and Spirits, Domino's, Audio Visual Consultation. Shout out to my man, Tom McCall. I see you in the comments, baby. Clean Calls, Verde's Mexican Parrilla, Kenfield, Golf Cars, Top Gun Rentals and Law Equipment, Hat Creek Burger Company, Moonshine, Patio Bar and Grill, and Paul's Motorworks. Thank y'all for a hell of a season. Till next year, Longhorns go down 28-14 against the Ohio State Buckeyes. He is Rodney Rodriguez. I am Zay Collier. Again, hey, Monday we'll be back so y'all can hear y'all's favorite shows, Bucky and BK, to Double R and Adam Wagner, Jordan Scruggs, and Jeff Howe, the great Keenan Womack, and my man Eric Henry, your boy Chip Brown, and Zay Collier, and then the SEC Unfiltered guys. Hey, nobody has as much fun as us. Shout out to my man Brad Kellner for allowing us to do what we do. We're out here, we're wilding, we're having a good time. Nobody does it like us. Nobody. Nobody. It's just, let's just keep it a buck. Nobody does it like us. We're the best in the business for a reason. I appreciate all the guys that represent Texas sports and do a good job in media. Salute them. But again, come on. The team like us doesn't come around very often. Bask in it. Embrace it. You know what I'm saying? And like TSU, Texas Sports Unfiltered, we're the wave, baby. Again, appreciate everybody rocking with us all year long. Again, he is the great Double R. You know what? Appreciate you, Double R. It's been a pleasure, man. It's been a pleasure, dog. You're my guy. You're one of my favorite guys in the business. It's been like that since I've known you. You even put me on freaking NASCAR, bro. My black ass being on NASCAR a little bit. I thank you for that, man. You're a terrific person to work with, man. And I hate that this is our last one, brother.
That's it, man. It's been a blast. I mean, it's always, I mean, a lot of it is, hell, we're always talking about wins, man. You know, that right there. That right there makes it pretty cool, man. But you and I would just kind of tell it like it is.
Yeah.
I mean, no need to sugarcoat shit. I mean, you know, call it good when it's good, and when it's fucked up, it's fucked up.
Yeah, absolutely. But until next time, everybody, again, Longhorns in the season, going 13-3, losing to Ohio State at the Cotton Bowl in the semifinals. One game away from making the national championship, 28-14. Till next time, y'all be cool.